You typed 4 words into a search bar. 1975. Queen. Elizabeth. Coin. And within about 10 seconds, somebody promised you a fortune. Maybe it was a thumbnail with a huge yellow number stamped across it. Maybe a video told you that the coin sitting in your drawer is worth $50,000. I need you to hear this from somebody who will actually tell you the truth. That number was invented. Nobody paid it. It never happened. But I am not going to leave you standing there, because there is a second half to this story, and almost nobody tells it. There are 1,975 coins with the Queen's face on them that are genuinely worth real money. Not a fantasy number pulled out of thin air. Real, provable money, sitting in real houses right now. And the difference between the two comes down to one single thing. Once you know it, no video will ever fool you again. So let me start with the thing nobody tells you. There is a trick question buried inside your search. There is no such thing as the 1975 Queen Elizabeth coin. It does not exist. Elizabeth II was not simply the Queen of England. She was head of state across more than a dozen countries, and nearly every one of them stamped her face onto its money. Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the Bahamas, Hong Kong, Bermuda, Jamaica, Fiji. The list keeps going. She appeared on more coins in more countries than any monarch who ever lived. So when you ask what a 1975 Queen Elizabeth coin is worth, you are asking a question with dozens of different answers. It is like walking into a dealership and asking what a 1975 car is worth. Which car? Built where? That gap is exactly where those clickbait videos live. Now look closely at the coin in your hand. She is young, shown in profile, wearing a tiara. That portrait came from a British sculptor named Arnold Machin, and it is the reason all of these coins look like cousins. Britain carried his tiara portrait on its coins from 1968 right through to 1984. Canada used a machine portrait for nearly 25 years. So a 1975 British coin and a 1975 Canadian coin can wear a nearly identical face and be worth wildly different amounts. The face tells you almost nothing. The words around it tell you everything. Now the hard part, and I am not going to soften it. If your coin is British and dated 1975, Britain was striking its everyday decimal coins that year. The halfpenny, the penny, the 2 pence, the 5, the 10, the 50. They poured them out by the tens of millions. A worn one is worth exactly what it says on the front, and even a crisp one usually brings a few dollars from a collector. There is no secret 1975 British rarity hiding in your change jar. If your coin is Canadian, the news is only a little better. A 1975 Canadian penny, nickel, dime, or quarter pulled out of circulation is worth pennies, maybe $1 or $2. Canada also struck a big dollar coin that year, showing a voyager and a First Nations man paddling a canoe across open water. It is a beautiful piece of art. It is also made of nickel, and it sells for roughly $2. So why do some 1975 coins carrying her face sell for hundreds or even thousands? Here is the rule. This is the whole video. With American coins, value usually comes from rarity. A missing letter, a hidden mint mark, a coin that nobody thought to save. With Queen Elizabeth coins from 1975, value almost never comes from rarity. Billions of these coins exist. Value comes from what the coin is made of. Metal, not mistakes. Metal. Let me show you what that looks like. Stay in Canada for a moment. In 1975, Canada did not strike $1 coin. It struck 2. There was a nickel voyageur you just met, and there was a second dollar, struck in silver, honoring the 100th birthday of Calgary. Same year, same queen, same country. The nickel one brings about $2. The silver one sells for around 20. The only difference between them is the metal. Now go bigger. Canada was building toward the Montreal Olympics, and all through 1975, it poured out sterling silver, $5 and $10 coins for the games. These are heavy, solid silver. Today, the $10 coins alone carry roughly $50 of silver inside them, depending on where the market sits that week. Canada also struck a $100 Olympic coin in real gold. Now go all the way. In 1975, Queen Elizabeth traveled to Hong Kong. She was the first British monarch ever to set foot there. Hong Kong marked the visit with a $1,000 coin struck in gold, her young portrait on the front. Today, that coin trades for close to $3,000, and almost every cent of that is the gold sitting inside it. And here's the fact that stops collectors cold. In 1975, the Royal Mint did not strike a single gold sovereign. Not one. But the Isle of Man did, through a private mint, showing a Norse warrior on horseback. That coin runs over $1,100 today. Look at the pattern. Not one of those coins is valuable because it is rare. Every single one is valuable because you're holding silver or gold. Now, I want something from you, and I want you to be honest, because I already know some of you are going to lie. Before you clicked on this video, there was a number in your head. Somebody, somewhere, told you what your 1975 coin was worth. Maybe a video, maybe a thumbnail, maybe a relative who was very sure of himself. Type that number in the comments. Just the number. Nothing else. I am not doing this to embarrass anybody. I am doing it because I want to see, with my own eyes, how big this lie has grown. I read every comment on this channel, and I have a feeling the numbers you post are going to shock even me. So here's exactly how to check what you actually have. First, ignore the Queen. Read the country. It is written right there on the coin, and it is the single most important word on it. Canada, Bahamas, Hong Kong, Jamaica. If there is no country name at all, and you see the words new pence, you are holding a British coin. Second, weigh it. Silver and gold are heavy. A coin that feels far heavier than its size suggests is trying to tell you something. Put it on a small kitchen scale and compare it against a modern coin of the same width. Third, take a magnet to it. Real silver is not magnetic. Real gold is not magnetic. If your coin leaps onto that magnet, the fortune conversation is over. Fourth, hunt for the words. Silver commemoratives almost always say so. Look along the rim and under the design for the word silver, or for the numbers 0.925 or 0.500. Those numbers are the coin telling you exactly how much silver it holds. Fifth, look at the finish. A coin with mirror-bright surfaces and frosted lettering came out of a collector set, not out of a cash register. Those carry a premium, and if it is still sealed in its case, leave it exactly where it is. And never clean it. I say this in every single video, because every week somebody scrubs an old coin and destroys most of its value in about 4 seconds. If you find something that looks like real silver or real gold, do not guess. Have it examined by PCGS or NGC or by a dealer who buys precious metal by weight. So think about the coin that sent you searching in the first place. Somebody handed it to you. A parent, a grandparent, a soldier who came home with foreign change rattling in his pocket. Photograph both sides, especially the country name, and drop it in the comments. I will tell you what you are holding, and it costs you nothing. And if you would rather be told the truth than be sold a fairy tale, subscribe and stay close. Because here is the last thing worth saying. Elizabeth sat in more pockets, in more countries, than any human being in history. Your coin may only be worth $1, but somebody carried it, spent it, saved it, and one day handed it to you. That part was never a lie.